Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam. As you guys have probably guessed, giving you some NBA player props for today. Using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page to find these player props. I will say I'm on a little bit of a hot streak recently, which is pretty nice. I always talk about the variance of sports betting, talk about how there are down weeks, talk about how there are up weeks. If you have an edge, obviously there should be significantly more up weeks than down weeks, which is what I am currently experiencing. But it's nice to be in the middle of a hot streak, as you can see, up about 1,200 this week alone using OddsJam. Now, obviously, that profit isn't totally from NBA player props; it's from everything that I've been placing. So definitely make sure to follow me on Twitter at my Twitter handle, as you can see on the screen here, and then also at Pickett, which is very betting specific as well, at OddsJam_Matt. Been having a lot of luck with tennis recently, but regardless, using OddsJam to find an edge, to find profitable bets, has been working out greatly for me. So for these player props, the first play that I am going to lock in here, and I know that this is the positive EV play because it's bolded and it has the blue little rectangle around it. So I get a lot of questions from people saying, are you placing the plus? Are you placing the minus? How do I know which bet to place? You always want to look for the bold and the rectangle around it. It doesn't matter if it's the plus or the minus, because sometimes you're betting the minus, sometimes you're betting the plus. It's all dependent on the odds that you're betting, reflective of the rest of the sports books. So basically, how big is the edge that you have on this individual bet? But it's always going to be the bold one that's rectangled. So just want to keep that in mind. And the reason why all these bets are profitable is because of these no vig odds here. So as you can see on the screenshot here, this just pulls up odds from every major sportsbook for this individual play, this Josh Giddey one. You can ignore Monkey, Knife Fight, Underdog, and Prize Picks because these three are all DFS companies, so their odds don't count. As you can see, they're pretty wide-ranging odds from sportsbook to sportsbook, right? We see minus 110 all the way up to the bet we're placing at plus 114. Pretty huge gap between the two sportsbooks. With that knowledge in mind, you have to understand that, well, if there's that big of a gap between the sports books, one of them has to be incorrect, right? There can't be that big of a gap and have both of the sports books accurately reflect what the market should be priced for this play, right? It's like if you're looking at the stock market and one exchange has Apple stock at $300 a share, one of them has them at $200 a share. Both of those numbers can't be the accurate valuation of Apple stock. It's the same thing with sports betting. So with that knowledge in mind that, okay, well, in this specific case, one has to be right, one has to be wrong. So with that knowledge in mind, there are some sports books that are consistently better than others at pricing odds, the reputable sports books. It's, again, to go back to the stock market. There are some markets, some exchanges that you trust more than others. Same thing with sports betting. So what OddsJam did was, instead of just say, okay, hey Google, who are the best sports books? Who are the sharpest sports books? They back tested thousands and thousands of betting opportunities and used that data to tell them who the sharpest sports books are. So that's exactly what feeds into these no vig odds here. They're pulled from the most accurate, the sharpest sports books in the world. So if you think about it from a holistic view, these X amount of sports books are historically the best at pricing odds. So we're going to track them. We're going to pull odds from those sports books. And then we're going to, at the same time, scan lines from the open betting opportunities from all of the major sports books, right? Collecting millions and millions of data points at one given second, and provide opportunities where you're getting more favorable odds. You're getting better odds than the OddsJam perfect line, than these no vig odds here. And when I say better odds, I just mean higher payout, so better for the sportsbook. So you can view these numbers as the true line, the accurate reflection of a market. In this case, it's at plus 110. We are getting it at BetRivers at plus 114. There is your value. That is a mathematically profitable play. And this is the first one that we're going to lock in here. Josh Giddey under 7.5 rebounds, plus 114 odds at BetRivers. Next up, the next play that we're going to go ahead and lock in is LaMelo Ball over 4.5 made three-pointers. So this play is at plus 140 odds at DraftKings. The OddsJam perfect line prices this at plus 137. So again, there's a 3-cent gap between these two numbers, which gives us our profitability. Even if there's a smaller gap between the two numbers, an edge is an edge. And then, so what you want to do, which I didn't mention in the previous one, so this part's important. Another question I get is, so you just take every single play that's on the positive EV page? You just blindly take every single one? And the answer to that is no. There's actually a little bit of additional research that I recommend doing. So, and all that is, it's kind of what I was doing before, but you want to click open the play, which is what I have here. You want to compare the bet that you're placing, the odds of the bet you are placing, to the rest of the sports books. The goal of this is you want to make sure that you are betting on an outlier compared to the rest of the sports books. So we are betting LaMelo Ball over 4.5, made 3-pointers at plus 140 odds at DraftKings. So first things first, let's identify the play we are taking. LaMelo Ball over 4.5 at plus 140. Okay, so here's our play. Now let's compare these plus 140 odds to the odds from the rest of the markets, right? How does this plus 140 compare to every other sports book that is pricing this play? Well, the closest book is 10 cents lower at plus 130. Every other book is, plus 125, plus 124, plus 125, plus 122, all the way down to plus 115. That's a good sign. You want to make sure that you are betting on outliers when you are positive expected value betting. The reason why, just think about it from the most likely scenario. So we have 6-7 sports books up here. If 6 of the sports books are in agreement, this should be priced between, plus 115, plus 125, with the highest being plus 130. That's kind of the range. And then one sports book is clearly the outlier at plus 140. The most likely scenario here is that plus 140 is a mispriced line, right? It's a stale line, a mispriced line, an incorrect line that's in our favor. We're getting more money by placing this bet on DraftKings. It would be like, to go back to the stock market example. Every reputable and every stock exchange has Apple stock at 300. You can buy them at $200 a share. You would want to invest in that stock because you say, okay, the market's telling me it should be priced higher than this, so this would be a good stock to invest in. It's the same thing with sports betting. Now, there are sharp sports books that you want to look out for specifically when you are line shopping. One of them is BetOnline. They're a pretty good sports book. The other one, which doesn't currently have odds for this play, is Pinnacle Sportsbook, which is these odds right here. So if you're betting on a play that's an outlier to both BetOnline and Pinnacle, that's a good sign for your plays moving forward. That's not me saying that play's a lock. That's not me saying that play's guaranteed to hit. That is me saying if you are consistently placing bets that are an outlier to the sharp sportsbooks like Pinnacle, like Bookmaker, like BetOnline, then you will be profitable in the long run. That's my strategy, and that's how it's worked out so well for me using OddsJam. So play number 2, LaMelo Ball over 4.5 made 3-pointers. Next up, play number 3, we're looking at Scotty Barnes under 7.5 rebounds. So the previous 2 plays were for plus money, right? Plus 114, plus 140. This play is for minus money. So I don't really, I'll bet plays that are basically up to plus 200 and all the way down to minus 200. It's all about the odds of the bet you're placing compared to the rest of the sports books. So you can find value betting at minus 150, minus 160. If everything else is at minus 200, just like you can find value at plus 150, plus 170, if everything else is below that, you will be profitable in the long run, regardless of the odds themselves. It's all about the market. And in this case, we're getting a really good price. So again, Scotty Barnes under 7.5 rebounds, minus 120 odds at BetRivers. The OddsJam perfect line prices this at minus 123. And look at the rest of the sports books. Let's line shop here. BetRivers at minus 120. Closest book, 10 cents lower. And in this case, lower means more likely to occur, at minus 130 at PointsBet. Look at every other sports book, starting with the sharp ones. Pinnacle, minus 148. Almost 30 cents higher, 28 cents higher. BetOnline, minus 143. 23 cents higher. Look at every other sports book, from minus 139 up to minus 145. That's a really good sign. This minus 120 is clearly an outlier compared to every other book, which makes it a profitable betting opportunity. This is play number 3. Scotty Barnes under 7.5 rebounds, minus 120 at Bet Rivers. Play number 4, and I think I have 2 more. Yep, I got 2 more. Luka Doncic under 8.5 assists. I understand it feels gross fading Luka because of how incredible he is. What I will say is that sometimes the bets that feel the grossest are the ones that end up hitting, and the bets that you love are the ones that end up missing. It's all about the data, and that's the most important thing. So the perfect line for this one is just below plus 110 at plus 109.68. Bet Rivers is giving it to us at plus 112. So again, that gap is giving us our profitability. Looking at the rest of the markets, we have Pinnacle at minus 102. We have BetOnline also at minus 102. Bet Rivers at plus 112. So clearly an outlier. And then looking at the rest of the sports books, looks like one book is closer at plus 105. And no other book seems to have this for above plus money, with Fox Bet at plus 100. So this is clearly an outlier to the sports books, to the rest of the betting market, making it a profitable play. Luka Doncic under 8.5 assists, plus 112 at Bet Rivers. And then the last play, and I'll make this one quick, Fred VanVleet over 2.5 made 3-pointers, minus 127 odds at Bet Rivers. Look at every other book. Looks like we have a couple 13 cents higher at minus 140, but look at the sharp ones. Pinnacle at minus 146, 19 cents higher. BetOnline minus 147, 20 cents higher. All in all, good sign. The sports books are telling you this should be priced higher, more favorable to occur than this number, giving us a good price. So that'll be it. That'll be 5 total player props for you guys to lock in for today, Thursday, January 12th. And that's it. So if you are tailing these, I've been on a hot streak, comment and let me know. Other than that, I would appreciate it if you could like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps me out a ton. But that's it. So thanks for watching and have a good one.